Chapter 1. The day everything fell apart. Elina never imagined that her wedding day would turn into a nightmare. The white lace dress hugged her figure, and the bouquet of lilies trembled in her hands. Her heart pounded in her chest like a drum as she walked down the aisle strewn with rose petals. But the altar where Alex was supposed to be standing was gone. Only the priest, confused and awkward, and her best friend, Lauren, with eyes full of guilt. Elina felt her world collapse around her when the wedding planner handed her an envelope with a letter. "Elina, I can't marry you. Lauren and I are together. She's expecting a baby. I'm sorry. Alex." Laughter rang out in the hall, and the guests' phones were already recording every moment of her humiliation. Elina collapsed to the floor, her dress spilling out around her like milk, and her bouquet scattering across the steps. Chapter 2. The appearance of the Savior. And then a voice rang out. "Enough!" Everyone froze. A man emerged from the doorway, tall, wearing an impeccable suit, his eyes both icy and piercing. It was Leonardo di Santos, a man whom everyone feared and respected. He approached Elina, took his cloak off his shoulders, and put it on her, then held out his hand. "Let me get you out of here." Elina, trembling, took his hand. They left the hall, leaving behind laughter and betrayal. Chapter 3. The house in the shadow of the garden. Leonardo brought Elina to his mansion, hidden among centuries-old cypress trees. Inside it was quiet, luxurious, and safe. Spacious rooms filled with the scent of fresh flowers, soft furniture, and books on every shelf. "You can stay here as long as you want," Leonardo said. "No one will see your pain here." For the first time that day, Elina felt that her heart could stop for something other than fear. Chapter 4. A new start. The first days in Leonardo's house were like a dream. Elina learned to walk among luxury without fear, to read people's signals in a new way, and to hide her emotions. Leonardo demanded nothing but trust, but his presence was constant, a soft shadow behind her every step. One evening, she heard the sound of a piano. Leonardo was sitting at the instrument, playing a melody that resonated somewhere deep in her soul. "Why are you helping me?" Elina asked. "Because no one else did," he replied quietly. "And because I know what it's like when your dreams are destroyed by those you love." Chapter 5. First appearance in public. A week later, Leonardo invited Elina to a social event. He introduced her as his cousin from Italy, a young heiress whose family no one knew anything about. Elina played the part confidently and gracefully, surprising even herself. When Alex and Lauren entered the room, their faces turned pale. Elina, feeling her inner strength, smiled. Leonardo took her by the hand and led her into a dance, as if the whole hall belonged only to them. "You were magnificent," he whispered in her ear, "like a true Di Santos." From that moment on, Elina understood. Her old world was destroyed, but a new one was just beginning. Chapter 6. Revenge in a smile. The next day, Leonardo offered Elina a contract. Not a romantic one, but a professional one. She would be his official companion at public events for 3 months. Everything was strictly business, with no intimate obligations. But with it came freedom, money, and the chance for a new life. Elina accepted the offer, realizing that this was her opportunity to be reborn. "Tomorrow you will meet them again," Leonardo said, "and you will show that you are no longer the girl who was betrayed." Chapter 7. The last step to freedom. At dinner at Alex's family home, Elina appeared in a new guise, confident, elegant, with a sparkling necklace and a gaze full of strength. Alex and Lauren froze when Leonardo took her by the hand and introduced her to everyone. "This is my cousin." Elina looked at their faces and smiled, gently but with cold determination. I've learned to tell the difference between boys playing at being men and real men. The room fell silent. Alex didn't know where to look. Lauren clenched her hands, and Elina felt the taste of true freedom for the first time. Leonardo looked at her, and in his eyes, she saw something no one else could see. Pride, admiration, and something else. Something Elina couldn't yet put into words. Chapter 8. Secrets of the Past. Several weeks passed. Elina had already gotten used to living with Leonardo, to his strict but caring support. But one day she accidentally found an old suitcase in his office, dusty and locked. Her heart began to pound. Inside were letters, photographs, and a diary revealing a shocking truth. Leonardo had once lost his first love, who had been betrayed by those close to him, and since then, he had never fully trusted anyone. Elina realized that his coldness and secrecy were a defense mechanism, and now she knew that their connection was not just a coincidence, but an opportunity for both of them to heal old wounds. Chapter 9. The First Kiss. One evening, as the moon reflected off the mirror-like surface of the pool, Leonardo approached Elina. His hands trembled a little less than usual. His eyes shone a little softer than usual. "Elina," he began quietly. "Yes?" Her voice betrayed a slight nervousness. He leaned down and touched her lips with his. The kiss was tender, long, full of promises they had never made to each other before. At that moment, Elina realized she was no longer a child afraid of betrayal. She was a woman capable of loving and being loved. Chapter 10. Confrontation. A month later, Alex and Lauren decided to make one last attempt. They showed up at the party at the Di Santos mansion with defiance in their eyes. Elina came out to meet them, confident and calm. Leonardo stood nearby, his gaze promising protection. "We wanted to apologize," Alex began. "An apology won't bring back what you've lost," Elina said coldly. "What do you want then?" Lauren asked with a trembling voice. Elina smiled. She raised her head, looked at all the guests, and then said quietly, "I want to live the way I want to, and I will never let anyone ruin my life again." Alex and Lauren realized that they had lost not an argument, but Elina's fate. Chapter 11. A New Dawn. The next day, Elina and Leonardo sat on the terrace of the mansion, watching the sunrise. "We did it," he said, hugging her tightly. "Yes," she replied, smiling, "and this is just the beginning." She felt a lightness fill her heart. Betrayal, fear, and pain were left behind. A new world, full of love, trust, and possibilities, was just beginning to unfold before her. And at that moment, Elina realized that true freedom was not just about escaping the past, but about having the courage to live life to the fullest and love without fear.